Every controller is a personal device. Some people love the PlayStation ones, some people love the Nintendo ones. I don't really understand those people. Some people love the Xbox controllers. In my personal opinion, the Xbox has the best controller in terms of ergonomics and compatibility. It works nearly with every single device except for the Nintendo Switch. I mean, you can of course get the adapters to make it work, but we're not gonna talk about this today. Today, we're gonna talk about the Xbox Elite Series 2 wireless controller and why it is the best controller in the whole world. Let's start. Hey everyone, it's Blade, and today we're going to talk with you about the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. I'm not sure about the full name, but the Xbox Elite Controller Series 2. Of course, it's a pricey controller. The full price of it is $179.99 US, which is $229 Canadian. But right now, it's on sale for $139 US, so you can get $50 off if you are planning to get it right now. There is even a more expensive version which costs $259 US that allows you to customize your controller as you want, except for the grips because they're always going to be black, but you're going to get the custom color, and even the logo on the case can be a different color. Or you can get a core version for $129 US. If you still can get it on the sale, it's better to get the full version for $139. But if the controller is not on sale right now where you live, the core version might be for you for $129.99 US. If we compare with the basic Xbox controller, which comes with the Series S, X, I think they're most or less the same. There are some minor difference between. The separate controller costs $59.99 US. There's also Xbox Lab Edition controller, which allows you to customize anything on the controller if we compare it with the Elite series, and it costs only $69.99 US. So should you even consider spending so much money on a single controller when for the price of the Elite one, you can get nearly 3 or 4 Xbox controllers on sale? Let's find out. So the Elite Series 2 wireless controller is an expensive device. It is a premium feel, it has full-on packaging with a lot of accessories, it looks cool, it feels really nice in the hands, but is it actually worth the price? The first difference between the Elite series and the regular Xbox controller is the battery pack. The regular Xbox controller does not have the battery pack included, so you have to put the double A batteries in there. Every time they're depleted, you have to put the new one, or you just buy the batteries that are rechargeable. The Xbox Elite controller does have the battery pack embedded in the controller. The good thing that it's easy to recharge. The bad thing is when the battery is dead, it's dead, and if it's not gonna hold any more charge, well, you are screwed and you have to unscrew the controller. Pun intended. If you're the person who likes to have a battery pack and loves to recharge your controller with the cable, well, the battery pack for the regular Xbox controller costs $24.99 US, bringing the full price of the controller plus the battery pack to around $90 US. Well, depending on the sales and etc. Now, if we compare the price between the core edition of the Elite controller versus the regular controller plus the battery pack, it's gonna be like $55 US. So now the difference in price is not such a big of a deal, but what do you get for that difference? Even though I'm not gonna show you the core edition of the controller today because I don't have it, I have the full pack and I got it as a present back in the days when the core edition was not even available. Well, I'm just gonna tell you the difference between the core and the full edition. Therefore, you can see the difference if you need to buy the full one or the core and save some money. So the first thing is the packaging. The Elite controller comes in a box, the same way that the regular controller comes, but the box looks cooler. When you open the box, you are presented with the hard case. It looks cool, it is hard shell, and it does protect your controller while you're traveling or just at home, and if it falls from the reasonable height, your controller will be safe, so you don't have to worry about this. The second thing that comes in the box, maybe now they include the Type-C to Type-C, I'm not sure about this, but in my edition, it was the Type-A to Type-C 1.8 meters cable, and that's 6 feet for my American friends. So the cable is included and the hard case is included. To go further, we have to open the case. The first thing that you see when you open the case, it's the controller itself and its beauty. All black, Well, if you bought the regular edition, not the core one, and if you didn't customize it in the Xbox Lab. But controller and its beauty. If you look below the controller, you can see the set of accessories that are included in the custom edition and in the full edition of the Elite controller. There are 2 sets of replacement sticks, making it 3 in total, because 2 of the sticks are already on the controller itself. Then you have 2 of them that are plain rubber of the same height, 3 of them with texture the same as the grip on the controller itself, and one of those sticks is raised a bit, so it has a higher height, makes it better for you to use it if you like that kind of stuff. And the last one is the same height as the other ones, but it has the rounded pattern on top and a bit of a dome shape for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, they do look and feel different, but to be honest, I use just the plain rubber or texturized. Sometimes the texturized does hurt my fingers after the long game session. Also included in the set are 4 back paddles that are fully metal, that are easily attached via magnets to the back of the controller, which can be customized in the app on the PC or on your Xbox. They do feel amazing, they're clicky, and I do think that they're a good addition to the controller. And last but not least is the tool to change the stiffness of the sticks. Yes, you can change it physically on the controller. If you remove the actual stick from the controller, you will see a small pattern where you put the key in and you can twist between the low, medium and high settings of tension. You can feel all of the difference in the settings, so I do suggest if you get it, just try different settings and see what works best for you. Of course, you can customize the additional sensitivity on the app itself, but this is kind of an additional feature that it's really cool to see. And the last thing that you will see in the case, the dock. Well, you have to remove the controller to see it, and it has the cloth thing on top of it, which I still didn't remove for some reason after 2 years, and every time I want to charge it on the dock, I just flap it on top and then put my controller in there. At first I thought it's gonna work through it, but yeah, no, the metal does not make connection through the cloth. So let's talk about the controller itself. It has adjustable trigger height, which you can adjust on the controller. It is physical, so you can again change all of the settings in the app, but this allows you a quick fix. So if, for example, for a quick scope, or I don't know, like you can make the triggers feel like on the Switch, or you can have the full analog triggers as on any other controllers. As I mentioned before, you can change the resistance on the sticks, and also you can change the D-pad. I think I didn't mention that in the box you have 2 types of D-pad, one which is like a circular, one which is just a regular D-pad. There is no big difference, to be honest. It's just preference for some people, but I use just a regular one, or sometimes I put in the other one just for a different look of the controller, but I don't use it too often, to be fair. The controller might be heavy for some of the people, but it is perfect for me, so you just have to feel for yourself. It feels like it's twice as much as the regular Xbox controller. And just to be fair, I never was a fan of PlayStation controllers or Switch controller, to be fair, even though I do have the Switch Pro controller, which I still am not sure if it's fake or not because I bought it off eBay. But the PS5 controller, which is there, I do use it to play PS5, but I'm not a fan of it. So the feel in hand is perfect, the ergonomics is good as the regular Xbox controller, but it does feel heavier, stiffer, and more premium. So you will not have problems with controller slipping out of your hands because it has a grippy, rubberized texture on the handles. It has the, I think it's metal triggers. The buttons are nice. Everything is nice. The buttons on the Elite controller are the same in terms of the placement and what they are as the regular one, but it has some additions. So at the front panel, you do have the button for the mode or user selection, so you can put on different settings for each of the 3 or 4 modes available, and you can just switch them on the go for the sensitivity or maybe macros that you are put in the app. And the other thing are the back paddles on the controller, which are removable. There are 4 of them, and they're fully programmable and customizable, and you can even put macros on them using the app on your PC or on your Xbox. So the software, it's good. on the PC. It has a really nice looking UI. It has a lot of features like the sensitivity adjustment, the profiles that I mentioned before that you can change on the go on the controller itself. You can even change the color of the Xbox logo. When I bought it, it was not released publicly, and it was like a walk around that you had to connect your controller through the USB and then change it like in some settings like hidden somewhere. But now it's easy to change, and you can change to any color you want, so it just gives a bit of the RGB feel to your controller. Before it was just white, and there are ton of settings in the app. So should you be spending so much money on the controller, which is just rubberized and a bit heavier, and some materials are made out of plastic and you can change some settings? Well, it depends. If you can get it on sale for $139 with the full pack, I think it's a deal, because you have all of the things that I mentioned right now in the video, and you'll be happy with the controller because it doesn't cost like 5 times more than the regular one. So you'll be happy with it. It worth it. However, it does have some of the problems, and we're gonna talk about those problems just in a minute. The Microsoft did expand the warranty on the controller. It was before 90 days. Right now it's a year. That talks about something. Right now, if you feel that you need the controller, you have 3 options in terms of the Xbox controllers: the regular one, the Core Edition Elite, and the regular Elite controller with the full pack. And I mean, if you want to customize that, just you will go straight away there and spend $270 on the controller, which is a bit insane, even though I do have the Elite full pack. The Core Edition, it does not have anything except for the controller and the cable included in the box. If you will buy separately all of the pieces that are included in the regular edition for the controller, it will be more expensive. You can look for second party pieces like the back triggers, you can look for the second party case. However, looking at the Reddit, looking at Amazon, what people were buying and showing, the difference is in price is like not big, so it's easier to get everything from Microsoft themselves. If you can get on sale, get the full edition. If you are thinking that you need all of those small things, well, that's up to you, to be honest. In my case, if I was spending my own money, I think I would get the Core Edition because I don't use the other sticks. I did try them at the beginning, but for most of this time I do stick for one of them. For the back paddles, I only use a set of 2, so only the top 2 paddles I do have in there. And the D-pad, like, there is no actual reason to change it for me. And the case, well, it's a nice addition, as well as the charging dock, but I do charge it with the Type-C cable. So personally, I would go with the Core because I don't need all of those things in there. However, now we have to go to the problems with the controller, and that's where the full package for the Elite series saved my controller. After a year and maybe 4 months of using the controller nearly daily, playing Forza Horizon, regular Forza, and some fighting games and some Yakuza, so the LB button stopped working, the left shoulder button. I was in panic, I was in shock, I was devastated, I was angry, I couldn't find a place to myself, I was sad. Maybe a day after, it started to register the clicks. However, it didn't register it as well as it did it before. Even though I didn't do anything, I didn't drop the controller, it just stopped working properly. Then after even more days, it started working, but it registered double clicks. Every single time I pressed the shoulder button, it pressed it twice in the game. So what I did is I stopped using it, put the paddles back, and remapped the shoulder buttons to the paddles. Is it a good thing to do? Well, it's bad for Microsoft to release the product that has so many problems, because looking at Reddit, many people have problems with the controller. And the shoulder buttons are not the only thing. They do have the drift of the sticks. Some people have their A, B, X, and Y buttons not working properly. So multiple problems that are persistent in the controller. However, the further we go down in the production line of this controller, less and less people do have problems with it. So if you're gonna look at Reddit, for example, people are not having as much problem as they used to be before. And also Microsoft did extend the warranty, so right now you're not protected only for 90 days, but for the full year. However, if you buy that kind of a controller for such amount of money, you are not expecting it to use only for a year. You expect to have at least 3 years for this controller. Like, at least I personally do expect it to last me 4 or 5 years. But I don't know if any other buttons will stop working on it or anything else will happen to this controller. Gladly, I do have my iFixit tool, and there are some solutions on how to fix the shoulder buttons, but I'm a bit afraid to open up the controller because I tried to open my PS4 controller and I broke it. Even though I did open up my Steam Deck and it works fine, so Sony makes bad controllers. That's the conclusion. Anyways, the other problems of this controllers are the materials. The plastic here, it smudges really bad. If you play consistently with it for half an hour, you will see your fingerprints, your smudges on the controller. So each time, if you have your controller placed somewhere nicely so everyone can see your expensive toy, everyone will see those smudges, or you have to clean it single time. The second thing that you will have to clean on the controller are the grips, because they do have the texturized material which does collect dust and cat hair really easy, and some debris in between. So yeah, if you want to have the clean controller, always you have to clean it a lot. So in conclusion, should you buy the controller? If it's on sale, yes, of course, buy the full version. It does worth it if you are fine with having like a bit of a hefty weight on the controller. If you don't like the heavy controllers, this is not for you. If you don't need any of those features and you just need the regular, as simple as possible controller, there are a ton of different options out there. It does feel better in hand than the regular Xbox controller, than the PS5 DualSense controller, and then the Switch controller. I haven't compared with the DualSense Elite version, but I do believe that the Sony controller, it's good, but it's a Sony controller. I'm not a fan of the position of the sticks, and I'm not a fan of just the whole feel of the DualSense. However, if you don't need any of the features, if you are not a fan of the heavy controllers, this is not for you. If you are on a tight budget, this is not for you, because this is a toy. It's not going to give you a big of an advantage in any of the competitive games. It is better to use this controller than the stock controller, but it's not gonna make you a pro player in a minute. If you are a baller with like ton of money, go get the full version with the customized colors, but maybe you could wait for a bit if it's not urgent to see if Microsoft will make at least like a white version of the grips for the Elite controller. But right now, all of the colors, it doesn't matter what kind of a color scheme you choose, the grips will always stay black. That's probably the problem with the production of rubber that they have in there, the texture. I don't know, maybe the white would just have really bad dirt in there, or get yellow in time, so they don't want to release it. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, put the like button below, subscribe to the channel to see more videos. And if you want to follow me on other social media platforms, go on Twitter. It's Ilya_played, and I'll just trying to update my day-to-day stuff and just some photography, maybe something that you'll be interested in. Also, if you don't like the video, put the thumbs down in the video, and do let me know in the comments specifically why you didn't like the video, or maybe you just hate Xbox and hate the pricier Elite controller and just say that it's a waste of money. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Now go play some games.